Welcome back to our match of the week in Week 8 of the LPL. We have 2 weeks left before heading into our own playoffs. We're lagging just a little bit behind the rest of the regions, but you have more regular season to look forward to. Once again, I'm Pulse, this is Raz, and we had an incredible first game from Invictus Gaming. Really, step 1 of the revenge plan is complete as they take their first game.
Oh yeah, just slashed them in game 1, and it was brutal. I was kind of surprised when Kha'Zix came out that early because, remember, patches come through, and not only are we slow in terms of getting to that playoff point, but when it comes to the patch, so you get to see a bit of a slow evolution in the meta. And it felt like RNG said, screw the meta. Kha'Zix is still a great champion. Kha'Zix and Rise, give it to us and we'll look for early pace, early ganks, early movements. And that didn't happen when Olaf was able to get face-to-face with Kha'Zix. So that was really unfortunate for Karsa, and I think there's going to be a change-up immediately when it comes to their early prioritizing and pick and ban.
Now, it turns out Kha'Zix gets his head kicked in by Olaf. Olaf has not been nerfed on 8.5. He is definitely just as strong as ever, and Ning showed that to us with probably the most dominant jungle play I've seen all split.
That's why I was surprised that Karsa didn't go back towards the Skarner. He's been really known to just really picking up Skarner early on. And it's great with the Rise as well. I mean, Rise sets up for a lot of ganks, but if you are a Skarner with Predator, just zoom into the mid lane. You have the initial setup with the Rune Prison, or at least the Empowered Rune Prison if you get the E across. Then that's perfect setup. That's great for being able to pick Cassio apart. I think that's at the very least what they'll go towards in game 2.
Expecting RNG to definitely be bouncing back here as well. I would be shocked if this was a 2-game series here. And the Allen's test was definitely saying this is going to be IG putting RNG in the body bag, but RNG coming off of that first game, I mean, they have the support from the crowd. There's definitely RNG fans are out here in force today, Raz, so they're going to be feeling good even heading into game 2.
And there's good reason to feel good. I'm glad that Zatai is still coming back into game 2 just because it wasn't his fault of what happened in game 1. If you're a GP and if your jungler's getting run down right next to you, it's a little awkward, so you got to run out back towards your base. And he did just that. He played safely until a point where he got enough items underneath him where his barrels were doing a lot of damage to Kog'Maw. Had the game not accelerated so quickly, he would have been a lot more meaningful in the next team fight. So we got to see him coming through. I'm going to assume that that's a Xiaohu sign. There it is.
Yeah, Little Tiger, after all, the literal translation of his name. But that begs the question, are we going to see more winning lanes, or at least trying to draft more winning lanes from RNG? Because obviously the laning phase is hugely important for both of these two teams. You look at the player talent, and it's so tight across the board. You can barely say any player is better than the other, pound for pound.
Yeah, the usual tendencies for RNG, if all else fails in game 1, they go back to what's comfortable in game 2. Technically all teams do that, but with RNG specifically, it's the bottom lane. They go back towards something that's much more damaging in the bot side of the map. Uzi and Ming were just outright losing the matchup. Ezreal, I guess Braum had a lot to say in that sense, dealing with the poke, walking up, and actually getting the kill onto Ming as well, to the solo kill, went in favor of Invictus Gaming. Usually, you don't get to see that, especially up against Uzi and Ming. I think they'll go back towards a Varus pick. I think that they'll leave a lot of AD carries up, not banning them. And especially if you ban the AD carries, don't leave your AD carry pick the second phase.
RNG at the same time also have blue side in this matchup. Invictus Gaming decided to choose red side for the second game as they had side choice, and that will give, of course, priority choice over to RNG if they do want to look towards a bot lane AD carry early on. Whether they want to prioritize the top side of the map, we will see. So RNG will ban away the Olaf, and the Braum coming into this second game also be priority Swain ban. Pretty much have to ban that one on this patch.
Yeah, but already you see the change out of RNG. 280 carries bans, no more. So the Braum immediately taking its place. They thought that the Braum was way too much in lane to deal with, incredibly annoying, especially if it's tagged up with the Kog'Maw. A lot of the weaknesses that you have out of the AD carry gets covered by the fact that Kog'Maw gets that extra bit of range on his W. So suddenly, yeah, you got tagged with Braum passive. You're likely going to just be, I would say, yeah, sure, you die off of it, but mostly you just get coaxed into a fight that you didn't want at all. It was Uzi and Ming that just wanted to be a poke lane. That was their whole intention in the lane, but they ended up getting coaxed into a fight just because Braum was able to get a proper tag.
2v2 winning is definitely not what you want to see if you're RNG or any team, in fact. Sejuani will be the final ban from Invictus Gaming, paired alongside the Sion as well, and Xayah out from RNG. So targeting the bot lane in the end, but now RNG, what's the priority?
Gotta be a Rise, I believe. It's great for Xiaohu, and I don't think the Rise was the problem last game. In fact, even though he was going up against the Cassiopeia and the Cassio is great into the lane, he had strong wave manipulation to allow for ganks to happen. All right.
Yeah, he was moving to those side lanes, but it will actually be the jungle, which is prioritized in the form of Zac for Karsa. So not looking towards the ADC, not looking towards Xiaohu. In fact, the setup from the jungle.
It's a lot more safe, I would say. Sure, you can invade on a Zac, but we've seen what you can do with a Zac, what's clear he can have. So starting out of Wolfgang, maybe starting out of Raptors, we've seen a lot of weird things with Zacs, or just going for blue buff and a Gromp start at the same time. So I would like to see what Karsa could do with the pick really early on, just so he can mess up Ning's timing of, I guess, Karsa's camps.
IG say, cool bro, I guess we'll just lock in one of the strongest bottom lanes right now and also deny that from Uzi. They pick up the Varus, they pick up the Tahm Kench.
Beautiful. I really do wonder about that, because RNG banning out Xayah because they don't want the Xayah-Rakan matchup coming up, but they're never going to pick it themselves. They just allow Varus and Tahm Kench to go by the wayside, so I guess they're going to get pretty powerful scaling picks for themselves.
RNG will counter that with their own Kog'Maw into the bottom lane here from Uzi, so taking a page out of Jacket of Buck, and it will also be the Karma pickup, so we'll see if that goes towards the mid lane here for Xiaohu.
Yeah, it's likely going to go mid lane. I mean, every single time we see a Karma pickup, it's always in the back of our head that Karma can go support, and it's always possible. But it's just such a good mid lane pick a lot of the time. Doesn't really have a bad matchup. So we get to see what matchup Invictus Gaming want to pin into it.
Invictus Gaming will look towards their jungler as well. Will be the Skarner for Ning coming out here as well, so we know what the jungle matchup is going to be. We know what the bot side could be as well if the Karma goes bot lane indeed. But Invictus Gaming are looking towards their next phase of bans.
This is going to be pretty interesting. It might come down to the same kind of tactics here. Invictus Gaming have strong lanes, or at least now they can play around bottom lane, while knowing that they're likely going to go up against the Karma in the mid lane. So they can start to really concoct a good pushing bottom side of the map. It's a little scary if you're RNG and you're just looking for scaling, stronger team fighting, but that's where Zac comes into play, because if you ever dive, is what IG do constantly, then diving up against the Zac, who is very good at counter dives, or at least counter ganking you, then it kind of puts a wrench into the plan. So I want to see if Karsa has enough vision in this game to catch out where Ning is going, where the plan is coming down, and protect his own lanes.
Hopefully this time Ning will not just be all over him like he was in the last game. The matchup is not quite so stark as it was Olaf into Kha'Zix that time around. Lulu will be the ban from Invictus Gaming, and they're saying, okay, we see the Karma. If you're going for a shield comp around Uzi, we're going to put that one to rest.
Yeah, the solo Q special. Duo Q's coming out with Kog'Maw, Lulu. Even Jingdong has done it. So we don't allow that to happen. If you have Karma, Lulu, we haven't even seen the top laner. It could just be a dirty Shen pick. That's just the pick you don't want to go up against in the later portions of the game.
Could be that one in the end. Talia and Ryze both going to be banned out here against Rookie. Going to be taking those away, but they also banned away the Orianna in Game 1, and that is still an option for them in Game 2. Now back over to IG for their pick.
And here's the thing. Best counter to a pick composition, which is what's happening at Invictus Gaming. Skarner, Varus, good in terms of finding that pick and trying to deal damage to them. This time around, it's going to be Kog'Maw. Best way you can do it is shield comps. I mean, Karma's already that one answer, so it makes sense that Invictus Gaming are smart enough to take away the Orianna and to take away the Lulu. Really strong from them.
The unbanned Orianna comes through from IG, and it's very common for them actually to give a counter pick or a last pick over to the Shy, or even Jackie or even Ning. At the end of the day, Rookie very rarely gets the last pick for himself on red side, choosing to actually give it over to the team. So once again, will be the case as the Orianna comes through.
Oh, I'm really worried.
Ooh,
I guess that turns into the Karma support.
Tank Karma top incoming.
Yeah, unless if your name is Shakurezi inside, you're just going to go full tank Karma. So I'm worried for Zatai just because he has to blind pick immediately. And it's likely going to be a tank if they want this composition to work out. So if he picks himself a Shen, anything just that's raw tanky in the top lane, and Invictus Gaming are holding onto their top lane pick, could very easily be a Jace. Just something that can break that apart.
Actually choosing to go for a dual threat right here and throw the Gangplank into the top lane, but that is into the Shy, who gets counterpick.
I think Camille will come through. That's a really strong answer towards the GP. Maybe Gnar, anything that looks to dive the pick. We already have Skarner coming through, which has a lot of utility, but follow up with some raw damage.
The Shy is definitely thinking right now because he has everything under the sun.
There we go.
Do it, Skywalker. Bring out the Fiora. Take out Zatai in the top lane. Pick up the carry.
And that's what we want to see out of the Shy. What he's known for is the ribbon picks and, of course, the Fiora picks. We saw him rocking the Fiora last year, and sure it was rocky points, but we saw a lot out of him, a lot of raw mechanics there. So he gets not only time with the team, to mesh with the team, to know how to play around him, but he gets to go back on the pick. So this is going to be a different Shy entirely from what we known his Fiora for. He's not going to get ganked repeatedly. He's going to have Ning in his back pocket.
is always going to be at least going to be the 2v2 and top side. Also interested in what this Fiora is going to be picking up in terms of keystones. You can also see the win rate pretty abysmal in the LPL, only a 26% win rate. It's been over 15 games as well. So the Shy is going to bring this one to the top lane, and we know he is extremely proficient on the champion.
Yes, and even though I love it just because he is the Shy and he goes towards these carry picks, you gotta love it. But it's going to be hard this time around. The reason why it has a low win rate is just because you do need items to get towards a relevant state of the game. GP was going to be fine unless if he gets repeatedly dived or he finds himself in a 40-minute situation where Fiora just has a lot of items underneath her. And remember, there's a Galio in this composition as the side of RNG, so looking for early plays post level 6 is going to be incredibly difficult on the side of Invictus Gaming.
What about pre-6 rounds? Where should my eyes be? If I'm looking around the map, what do I want to look for?
Oh man, I'd say mid lane immediately. Mid lane and jungle. Jungle just to see if you can find Zac early on. Because the one thing you don't want is a Zac unseen. Because a Zac unseen is likely going to just dive you. You want to be able to catch him in his early pathing so you know where he's going to path towards and you can have proper vision as to what lane he's going to gank. Because what's annoying about Zac? It's very hard to ward from.
He's everywhere.
He could really just be finding you in the mid lane or bottom side of the map, and you wouldn't have the ability to catch him.
Well, we're expecting Sparks to fly once again heading into Game 2. RNG and Invictus Gaming, it's our match of the week. Again, the fans out here in full force, live from Shanghai. And right now, RNG are looking towards Invictus Gaming, pushing them back in their jungle, looking for some early vision as well. And actually pushing in fully. Rookie's going to see them heading in, however. And Ning is just on the tail end right here, looking maybe for a ward over into Wolves or even into Blue itself.
Yeah, get a good start for Karsa, just so you know where the Skarner's starting off.
This is going to be a lot of downs onto Zhao. He was completely split up from the team. He's going to have to flash away. Baolan thinking about following through, and Jackie will send him packing.
Yeah, they lost focus while they were invading. A lot of them were just focusing on Orianna that was trying to force a pincer. But then they lost Sahu. Sahu just decided to go in a little bit deeper and found himself right beside Jackie Love. Unfortunate from him.
The straggler sent back to base, no flash, and also going to be late to the mid lane wave. Take a look at some of these keystones. Will be actually the Kleptomancy for the Shy into top lane, something we have seen pretty frequently from the Fioras. And the Zatai will be doing the same here as well.
So back to the Klepto GPs. And we see the Klepto Fioras more so into tank matchups. But she feels confident that she's going to be able to get the procs onto the GP. So she has to do well early on or she's going to lose a lot of gold if she falls behind in the matchup.
Yeah, something we've seen Gimgoon as well pick up into the top lane. And immediately both of them pick up red potions, fantastic. Into the bottom lane, Jackie Love and Baolan once more. Going to be facing down Uzi and Ming, who get the first push on this Kog'Maw.
It's an hilarious stat that we show up. Yeah, Invictus Gaming, at 15 minutes, incredibly far ahead in every lane. It happens often. This is why this specific game is so interesting, because both teams usually have the inclination of having a stronger early laning phase. And even though we see the Kog'Maw here, having the mage support and Karma Shard, so you have the Ardent Sensor later on, but it's such a good matchup into the tank matchup. So we get to see a rare mage support, just so Uzi has a good laning phase.
Yeah, Ming down there on this one. Meanwhile in the jungle, just watching them clear out the jungle camp so far into this game. Zac just going to go towards those Raptors right here before heading up to his top side of the map, going towards this blue buff, and maybe then looking towards the Shy, who will get the initial push down onto this gangplank.
Yeah, this is very safe for Karsa. The fact that he was able to go through his camps just unaffected by enemy pressure, just because Skarner was able to just take his own camp alone. So he's going to be pretty slow to getting to the next location.
Ning also pushing up there, actually just going through mid, so we're going to say hi to Zhao on the way past and go towards his own Raptors. Baolan is pushing forwards, has the Unsealed Spellbook on this one, doesn't have the Glacial Augment, so doesn't have the run you down time Kench, but will still be able to get the auto attacks down onto Ming.
I love Glacial Augment and approach velocity when you have raw tank matchups, just because it's easier to walk up to a melee champion and get the gobble. Going up against the mage champion, it's usually fairly difficult because they're at such a distance, especially Karma that has the shield and speed boost. It's not going to happen.
Zhao gets the taunt down onto Rookie, and Castle was there as well, just saying hello, but Rookie reads this one, starts to back away, opens up enough distance, and he knows that Ning was here as well, who's going to immediately launch himself onto this blue buff. Karsa, is he going to go towards the blue buff first or go towards somewhere else? Well, he's about to see Ning in just a second, places the ward over the wall, will turn into a smite contest on this one. He jumps in, managed to get the smite down, Karsa, and Ning looking for the damage back on towards him. Notice that his mid lane was pushing up, indeed the top lane as well. So Karsa will be the one to back away, but get away with his own blue buff.
Yeah, that's a strong way to get your own blue, of course, when you get him popped up into the air. It's enough damage as well, recognizing that it was in smite range, and there's no way for Ning to smite it while he was CC'd. So good for Karsa to be able to pick it up. He's not going to have help from his own lanes just because Fiora and Orianna are pushing in.
Karsa jumping back towards the Grump as well, and Ning is just constantly invading, constantly taking everything away, and this time Karsa didn't have the smite, only just came off cooldown, and Ning can take this one away.
Yeah, it's relentless. It's ruthless. I'm just surprised that RNG put themselves in the exact same position in Game 2 after recognizing that they were getting pushed in so frequently in Game 1, and Ning was all over them. So once again, Ning is back in Karsa's jungle.
Oh, flash forwards out from Rookie, and Ning was right there to receive Crystal Slash and just honestly a drive-by of a kill.
Yeah, Canada Post Delivery Service, I get the kill, and I'm peacing out. That was pretty hilarious. The fact that I think Rookie thought he was getting the kill, 100%. And it was the insurance policy of Ning just to go for the drive-by.
There is no escape, and Ning looking towards the bottom lane, maybe coming in for yet another gang. However, the recall is coming in from Baolan, who is level 4, so at best this will be a 2 versus 2 unless he's looking for the counter gang.
TP coming through.
South from Baolan. Karsa, meanwhile, was actually trying to solo out the dragon. Yeah, what indeed. As Ming is trying to escape from this one. Uzi wants to turn it, but Baolan eats him up and ready for the gobble. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Ming was trading off against Jackalov. Karsa coming down into the bottom lane. It's a 2 versus 2. Flash out from Ming. Is out of mana. And now Xiaohu rotating into the bottom lane. Ning and Baolan needs to get out of here. And Baolan, does he have the Devour backup? Doesn't look like it. Oh, just in time! And saves Ning.
My God, the fact that Uzi was able to trade right back onto that along with Ming. Hero play, because that should have worked out so well for Invictus Gaming. They tried that play with Baolan TPing into the lane. A 3v2, and somehow RNG answers back.
You expected it to work out. Karsa was soloing the dragon as well, but he was able to rotate, and Xiaohu also managed to get there before Rocky in the mid lane and somehow managed to get the pushing advantage or find that rotation on the Galio, so RNG are able to even it up in the end. I do want to say that, sorry to cut you off, Raz, but just looking at some of these gold totals once again, you even said it yourself, we see like in a very similar position. Top lane's ahead, mid lane's ahead, bot lane is only now behind because of that last trade.
That's why it's kind of rough if you're RNG. You find these plays to make it worthwhile, the trade, pushing Invictus Gaming back out, and so you're still thinking bottom lane is doing so well for themselves. Tincius ahead, even getting a kill onto Ming, but then the solo lanes are still a major problem for RNG. They still have to do something about mid lane specifically.
Karsa jumping into the bottom lane, Elastic Signature comes through, and he wants that stretching drag onto Jackalov, but the Tam Kench will do. The catfish for dinner is what it's going to be for Uzi. Jackalov backing away, instant flash over the wall as he sees Xiaohu closing in.
I guess if that's your winning lane, you just keep going back to it. Right now, Jackalov and Baolan need to rethink the position here. Pushing out for trades, they thought it could work out just because the lane was looking good for them. They even had the recurve bow for the laning matchup, so they felt like they could still trade evenly. But then Karsa just came right back for the counter.
Ning just doesn't leave, does he? He's back into the top jungle. This is in fact Skarnus right now. Jackalov pushing up, and Ning's going to find him walking the dog. Uzi and Jackalov at the same time. Last auto attack comes in. That's just a little bit too easy. Meanwhile, the top lane, Ning looking for the dive with the tie. So Shy's going to be the one tanking this one. He gets the last auto attack down, and Ning will back away. But the action doesn't stop there. Karsa looking for the elastic slingshot into mid lane. Finds the abduction, kidnaps him into the tower, and he's got the waiting arms of Xiaohu. Torn, damage, Karsa, he's low, but it's not enough damage from Rocky.
Unreal. I mean, at least he had the cell division, but he didn't even need to pop it. Lane after lane after lane under attack, because the moment Ning showed himself top lane, it was the go signal from Karsa to go mid lane. It all started from the bottom side of the map with all those ganks coming through, because Jackalov didn't have flash. We saw him flash over the wall to get out of and away from Xiaohu when he roamed down bottom lane. He should have respected, he should have known that the summoner disadvantage would have meant that Ming was going to be able to close the distance and get the stun. It happened, the snare went down, Uzi followed up with his own flash, and that's the kill. Very easy on the side of Uzi and Ming on the bottom side of the map.
RNG really firing back in this game, and also that extra kill over to Uzi. Now 2 kills in this early game. I said the same sentence in game 1, actually on blue side, but it will be this cockball going towards Quintus once again. Baolan looking for the play into the bottom lane. He has Ning in his belly. Jumping forwards, that's the impale from Ning. Can Uzi get out of here? He doesn't have the flash, he doesn't have summoners. In fact, he just goes for the kamikaze run onto the minions.
Yeah, I'll get the minions for my troubles. That's how I keep a high CS rate. I'm still ahead of you, kid. Maybe you can take the turret. but we'll find out if you have the gold advantage.
Will Ming stick around because he has Karsa coming down. He tries to find Sanctuary underneath this tower. Jacula pushing forwards first, but it's Battleland tanking up the turret. Ming is already down. Karsa tries to find a return kill and kicks Jacula out of the stomach of Battleland.
Good counter gang coming in from Karsa, but Ning just doesn't stop. Goes for the dive onto Ming. I feel like this is personal. We don't talk about it often, but the fact that Ning and Ming were both on Young Miracles, they get a few chances to play up against each other, barring scrims. They go up against each other, and we're ganking bottom lane repeatedly.
Raz, there's a lot of grudges in this match as well. You know, you look towards the bottom lane. Uzi, he's got his hit list. He's already gone through iBoy. We heard him at the start of the split. If you want to be the best, you got to go through me. And Jacula was the last name on that list, so he's got to prove a point heading into Game 2. Didn't go so well in Game 1.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage. Welcome to Fiora. Yeah, don't step back into that, Satai. If you land the lunge, by the way, gives you cooldown back. So he's just going to keep doing that for the rest of eternity.
The thing about the Shy, doesn't really care about jungle pressure. It hurt him when he first started out in the team, but now it doesn't matter too much because he relies and trusts Ning's pressure. So if you give him that distance, he's going to just queue onto you at all times. So yeah, he's going to win every skirmish.
And what does that result in? Well, 1,000 gold advantage over to the Shy, as we just saw the goal totals. 34 farm ahead of the Gangplank. It's so often we see the Gangplank matchups and like, well, I'm down, but I'm still ahead in goal because Kleptomancy. But not in this case. The Shy is demolishing this top lane.
Yeah, and it's only going to get worse here. Just take a look at how much damage is going to be going on to Zatai a little bit when the wave bounces back. Ning has ulti now. He got it while he was taking blue buff. He's got blue buff. He's trying to push for Grump. If he stays here any longer uncontested, he's going to look for a dive top lane. That's why it's crucial for Karsa to be there.
You on the bottom lane, Chain of Corruption landing from Jacula. Battleland's going to have to save him. We'll send him back to his turret. But right now, even though RNG have made such good plays counter-ganking IG, sequent kills, and they have massive advantages in the top side of the map. Rookie getting CCs in the mid lane. There's the taunt, follow through, chain CC, and get back here, Rookie! Flash away out of the shockwave, and Ning rocks up just to see his mid laner die. Yeah. Ning chasing down the bottom lane.
It's in the blob, and it just doesn't stop here.
Battleland gets the 1-4-2 flash, as Jacula will jump inside his belly and get back to safety.
I wonder how Jacula and Battleland found themselves in the river, because that was going to be the next hit list here for Karsa. Getting the mid lane gank freely, he was going to come towards the bottom lane. So there's rough timings. Jaculov's going to have his flash soon.
This is really bad for the Shy right here. Ning is closing in from behind, so he knows he has assistance. Predator's also going to be here, but the instant teleport, the timing out from Zhao, who will save his top laner, and RNG also pick up the dragon.
All right, good defense overall from RNG, and that's what it is, defense, pure defense. They need that to get to their next item break points. Uzi is so close to getting his Guinsoo's Rage Blade that Karsa is just focusing the bottom side of the map so he can get that proper back timing. If they get a kill on the way, then you know what, God bless, let's go for it.
Yeah, we'll take everything away from this one, but the wave's already pushing up, and IG, bottom lane, they've got to be fearful. There could be a Zac around the corner, we just don't know. We don't have the warding to really spot this one out. Top lane is still being harassed down, out from the Shine. He's also picked up the Ravenous Hydra, so the harass and the push will continuously happen with Rookie coming into the top lane.
RNG have to feel somewhat suspicious about this pressure here.
Well, the Shy's already launched himself onto the Titan. Actually, he just kills him by himself. Rookie, you're not needed, mate.
Yep, I was wondering if Galio was going to lean topside, but it feels like he was already put in that coffin. The moment GP was underneath the turret, at that kind of HP, I'm like, all right, I guess I'm just here for the insurance policy. I'm going to go back mid.
And Rookie does the right thing. He sends the ball over to the Shy, gets the assist, and he was like, well, that was the easiest assist of my life. I'll go back to the mid lane. Top lane will be the first tower of the game. 650 gold over to the Shy, who has now opened up almost a 2,000 gold advantage over the GP.
Yeah, 2K gold lead up in the top side of the map, 1.5 in the bottom side of the map. Seems like RNG has a strong lane there.
But Karsa, he's always going to take the opportunities to try and take down Rookie in the mid lane, but the response is coming out from Ning at Battleland, and the bottom lane rocks up, but Xiaohu, he's now getting caught out in the mid lane. It will be a 1-for-1 trade.
A good response there. If you have the TK, you can just send them there for the defense. It's going to be a tower trade, you would have to believe, that now that both Jacula and Battleland are here looking for the mid lane tower.
But if they pick up the mid lane tower, that is definitely a trade I would take any day of the week, Raz, if you're taking bot lane for mid lane.
Maybe go for the kills.
Ning's looking for it. He gets the smite down, jumps over the wall with the Elastic Slingshot, but that completely exposes the mid lane, and they have 3 minions to boot.
I don't know if they're going to be able to get this one unless if Ning decides to tank a little bit. It's going to be a little bit rough. Yeah, so just going to finally, breath of fresh air for both sides. I would say Invictus Gaming looking towards the mid lane, that's on their hit list. They need to be able to take that mid lane turret down if they want to look towards continuously defending the Shy's push. If they get this turret down, then suddenly he can actually look to pressure on towards the next turret, or at least the inner tower.
Now, he'll be able to keep going in the top lane as well. He wouldn't even have to swap into the bottom lane. Continue this pressure on the Fiora. And it was obviously a statement pick. The last pick of the drafting phase was the Shy, picking up the Fiora. The crowd goes, ooh, how is this going to work out? Well, into Zatai so far, worked out exceptionally well. But right now, you can see he's kind of being stymied. He can't push too far into this jungle now.
Yeah, so I would say that they should move their rotation, have Fiora going to the bottom side of the map so that you can look towards that outer turret. And it puts them in a proper position to start really solidifying the wards that they currently have in the Baron area. Sure, Baron's not up until 5 more minutes, but if you have it up there for 5 minutes, then you can push towards mid a little bit more easily. You can defend that up until the 20-minute mark and then force a rush. Depends on how RNG deal with it.
Caster is not holding back on the trigger thing in this game. Slams both of the bot laners together, and Baolan will manage to pick up Jackulov, send it back to the turret response with the chain of corruption. Rookie is looking for the shockwave, drags in the tank right here, and Ning is closing in from the flank. Can he get in range with the ultimate? Well, he's getting the speed up out from his team, and Uzi, he's split up from the team right now. In comes Xiaohu with the save, and Ning trapped in place. Rookie taking some damage. Xiaohu back towards the jungle.
Yeah, I was surprised that Karsa got the pull on there because that canceled out the knockup that would have come through on towards Ning when Xiaohu came in.
That opens up space for Invictus Gaming to take out the outer mid lane turret. And what does that mean? Well, the Shy is now pushing up to the inner turret almost immediately off of that pressure.
All right, Shy's got to back up here. So once again, even though Rift Herald is up, I believe Invictus Gaming should just look towards bottom lane with how fast they've been moving. They can actually just look to defend the Rift Herald, so RNG are not in position to take it. That being said, they ain't about that.
Ain't about that life, Raz. Yes. Nah, not going to happen. Mid lane's already still there. Top lane, the Shy is in the top lane pushing. It's going to stop Zatai recalling as well. That was blind, by the way. And Ning is just going to solo up the Herald.
All right. So that just means that we'll have to look towards where they use the Rift Herald. That kind of opens up the fact that they can go for the inner mid lane tower anyways. Usually that's incredibly hard, especially with the Zac still available. He can look towards those counter dives very easily. But if you just have a Rift Herald, then you can play a lot more safely around it and allow it to get the damage down onto the tower.
And the Gambit pays off. There's going to be Herald for nothing over to Ning right here and Invictus Gaming. A bot lane outer turret is still alive for RNG, so it may be the point that they want to attack, or they can try and use this Herald to break open something more like an inner turret now from RNG, allowing them to push further into this base.
This turns into a little bit of an arms race if you're RNG, with how fast IG's been pushing the tempo once again. Running this kind of composition through RNG, you just have to look for the Renan's Hurricane for Uzi.
Well, this is the first amount of pressure I've seen going to the top lane, and it was not a lot because there was a fantastic dodge coming out of the Shy. It will not be tagged up by the stretching strike, and in fact, 1 versus 2, the Shy is still going.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to stop him? Why are they even going for this 2v1? She still has flash, she still has ulti, so of course she's going to still win that 2v2, or at least that 2v1. I think right now RNG's in a really desperate situation if they're trying for this.
Caster again, his target this time is the minion wave. Now he has nothing to hit, so the Shy's going to walk away from his elastic arm. Meanwhile in the mid lane, Ning will continue pushing, giving space for the bottom lane to collapse onto Xiaohu. Shield of Duran buys a bit of time, but Xiaohu is dead to right. He's going to be going down, and the minion wave is still there. So Jackulov and Rookie will take down this turret.
Yeah, very free for them. Pushed out mid lane and allow them to go for a bottom lane dive, knowing that Zac has been spending his time top lane. So once again, they punish the fact that RNG are allocating resources irresponsibly. Putting Karsa top lane, knowing that, what the hell, Shy is going to deal with that easily. Maybe they were just trying to gun for his flash. Maybe they were trying to gun for his ulti. Maybe they just, it's like, hey, you blew a cooldown, great. Now you're eased up in some pressure, I can leave. But he doesn't leave, he just stays there for the wave as well. So it's just not good resources to be putting down. Zac needs to be solidly in the middle of the map, so he can move towards bottom lane if he was needed.
And again, we're in this position where RNG are on the back foot, but they do have more late game insurance this time around. They have the GP in the top lane, who, yes, it's not having a great day, but they also have Uzi in the bottom lane, who did get a nice influx of goals in the early game, has his Quincy's Raid Blade, did, however, have to slow down and pick up the QSS. So it's going to be a while until this Cockmore's hitting like a truck, but there are ways for RNG to come back into this game.
Yeah, it was necessary going up against the Skarner. You do have to pick up QSS. I like the fact that Tom Kent was taken away too and pick and ban, because that's usually the response for a Skarner pick, is to get the straight denial. You don't necessarily have to pick up QSF if the support plays it well. But because you don't have any bit of rescue in your composition, this means that he just has to go towards his Runon's Hurricane a little bit more slowly.
The Shy is now being aggressed on by 3 players in the bottom lane. Zatai's going to get the speed up out from the barrel. They'll just follow after and hit with the parlay.
This is just hilarious, the chase down composition. When the Shy has lifesteal and can just go up to the next minion wave and heal up all of the damage you levied towards them.
Especially if the minion wave is coming in. Just see the flash out there from Xiaohu as he backs away. Rookie pushing him into his jungle. Invictus Gaming now looking towards the mid lane, and Ning, he's got the Herald ready to go engage in the mid lane, but meanwhile the bottom lane is a 1 versus 1. The Shy's being chased after, and the Shy wants him, but he's out of range of the launch. Meanwhile in the mid lane, there's going to be the engage onto Baolan. He pays the price for Invictus Gaming's aggression, but the Herald will still get the charge.
I just love the fact that the camera panned down towards the bottom lane. They were so damn interested in the fact that the Shy was chasing him down, that the moment Zach jumped in is like, no, we're not interested in that. We don't care about that counter diving nonsense. I just want to see the action. But no, it did happen. Karsa, once again, leaped out the moment the siege was about to go down and stopped the push. It was Baolan that was inevitably going to take the hurt from that, because if it was Jackie Love that got knocked up, if it was Rookie that got knocked up, Baolan was in position to save him. He just means that he put his neck out for it.
Just saw the Shy stats last time we played Fiora, 96 CSD. I have to assume at the end of the game, out of laning phase would be absurd, but again we can see this mid lane engage, and it came out from Karsa.
Now what do you do if you're anybody looking for a siege up against the Zac composition? So this is what you have to be afraid of. Last time we got to see RNG this far behind, it was with Karsa manning the Lee Sin, and every single time you would look for a dive or a siege, you would find a phenomenal kick to get you back into the game. So if you're going up against RNG, you still have to be afraid of Karsa's way of getting back in.
I will say more recently we saw RNG fall behind against JD Gaming when they had MLXG in the jungle, and they fell very far behind. That was actually a 2-0 over to JD, and that was the last series.
Yep, that is true. It's always unfortunate. When you have MLXG on the team, you're either incredibly far ahead because of him, or something goes wrong, and you ain't coming back. So I like the fact that RNG bringing on Karsa and, funny enough, Zatai a little bit more consistently. So you might see this team get played when they're in playoff position, and if they succeed, perhaps internationally if it gets that far.
And it's worth mentioning that since the start of the split, since the very first game of the LPL, which was RNG versus IG, IG have done significantly better over the split. Their current total record is 27 games to 4. That's 13 series to 1, whereas RNG, they actually have 9 wins to 5 losses and then 20 to 15. So stark difference in terms of how well the teams have been doing in the league. But we're going out for another engage because RNG will not go down, not fighting. Uzi gets caught out by Rookie. He's going to send him packing, and Castle on the front lines has no protection. He's getting whittled down, but he barely survives. That's single digits. However, in the 1v1, no one's going to stop the Shy.
Yeah, Zatai has to concede the turret and has to concede the inhibitor if he gets absolutely no help here.
That means that RNG, their big 4-man stack, has to back away. Invictus Game move towards the Baron. They draw RNG out. Rookie, he's separated from the team and may in fact die. Flashes away, and Casa cannot lock on.
RNG need to start Baron right now. It's desperation time. If they do not go for the play, they lose everything. They lose the inhibitor, and the Shy is going to continue to move forward if RNG are just wandering around the Baron area.
You're absolutely right, Raz. I don't think he's going to stop. Meanwhile, in the top side, Baolan almost getting abducted there, but will be able to back away. Rookie and Ning need to get out of here. Baolan with the save onto Rookie. My life for Aya. Get the mid laner out of here.
All right, but you know what? The Shy backed up on out of there, so he's in position to look to defend the Baron. RNG still have to go for it, though.
Jakulov, he's waiting on this ward right now. He has been revealed, and Zatai will be trying to zone him away. Rookie over the wall, and Casa has locked on. Target acquired. There's going to be some covering fire out from Rookie, and Jakulov, he gets the speed up. And RNG, I don't know if they can catch him. They get speed up coming in from Ming, and they're going to chase him down, but the Shy has turned up to the fight. This has become scattered, but the Shy in the 1 versus 2 will destroy Uzi. Now Zatai's trying to get away from this one, but make that 2 kills for the Shy, who just turns up and kills everybody.
RNG saw their one opportunity, and it all crashed down the moment the Shy found that one-on-one time with Uzi.
He is a one-man army, Raz, and he's chasing out Ming right now. He wants a 3rd kill in this fight. There it is. Turns back towards Xiaohu, but he's already dead, and they are looking for the win.
He already prepped the wave, too. The Shy just took the game alone. This man cannot be stopped. I was wondering if RNG were going to be able to find their way back into this game, but the moment he found that one opportunity, one-on-one time with Uzi, that was it.
Well, the revenge is complete, Raz. Invictus Gaming up against RNG. It will be a 2-0, and Invictus Gaming cement themselves as the strongest team in the LPL.
You know what this sets us up for?
What's that?
Week 9, put it on your calendar. Maybe send some JD over, whatever order you want. Some cookies, just any snack.
You just really enjoy that cupcake,
I love cookies, I love snacks. Anyways, because Invictus Gaming have to go up against Rogue Warriors Week 9. Sure, they have to go up against top to start with, but at the end of the week, that's that one matchup we all want to see. Why? Because they were able to take down RNG so handily. You have to wonder, if there's any team here in the LPL, there's any here, I would say any team in the world that can stop Invictus Gaming.
This is the most dominant team we've seen in the LPL since EDG 2016, who had an 18 series winning streak. Currently, 14 wins in a row for Invictus Gaming. So maybe they can catch them. They might be able to equal it by the end of the split, going up against Rogue Warriors next week. Not a lot of games left, but Invictus Gaming have looked so incredibly strong.
A lot happened so quickly. We were always wondering what would happen if a team matched the gank pressure from Invictus Gaming, or at least the early game pace. I saw a little bit of that. Even though that was such a late game stalling composition out of RNG, at least we saw Karsa constantly look for those ganks, but it felt like every single time he did that, just the fact that he exposed himself, found himself out there, the enemy team knew exactly where he was, they would lose immediately in the opposing side of the map.
And take a look at the statistics. Well, it was a 24-minute game between Invictus Gaming and RNG, and to be honest, everyone saw this coming. They're two very fast-paced teams, so if you lose in the early game and mid-game, the game is essentially over, and we saw that in Game 1 and Game 2, Invictus Gaming accelerating towards the 20-minute mark.
Man, the last time Invictus Gaming dropped a map was up against Fun plus Phoenix in Week 4.
Yep.
That was just one map. And they just bodied RNG this game too. I don't know who's going to stop them. I mean, we're hoping that our Rogue Warriors can put up a fight before playoffs, because if that doesn't happen, then who's going to stop them?
I mean, to be honest, Raz, you just said it there. They are unstoppable. That's what we've seen. As you said, one map in Week 4, but they've just been crushing every single team they've been going up against. And Invictus Gaming, it's win lane, win game, but it's more than that. You know, all the players have come together, and every single player on that team, there is no weak link. And pound for pound, they are just some of the strongest players we have in the LPL. Yeah,
and if you're scouting up against Invictus Gaming to see what they can and cannot play, they played Orin in Game 1, so they can play a tank at the top side of the map and still play quickly. They played Fiora in a split push scenario, and then she won the game through team fighting when you found an opportunity to just go for it. So Invictus Gaming are flexible enough, and I wonder who's going to stop them. I don't have the answer. I'm an analyst. I got nothing.
With the 2-0 over RNG, Invictus Gaming, their revenge tour is complete, and with that, we are going to send it over to the AD.
Thank you so much, Pulse and Raz. I'm the only one without glasses on this desk. I just realized.
Oh, yeah, you are.
I feel out of the loop right now. Maybe that's just me, but at this point, I'm starting to feel like Zatai in that game, playing against the Shy, just left out by his team, hung out to dry, having to deal with that crazy Fiora, because holy cow, I do not have words to express how great a game we just saw out of the Shy. Just split pushing to his heart's content.
Where we
Let
going?
me help you out.
Somebody stop it.
No, let me help you out. Smeb is taking notes on how to play Fiora like that. That was probably one of the most successful Fioras that we've ever seen globally. Definitely the most successful Fiora that we've ever seen in the LPL. But a lot of it wasn't just set up by Smeb. It was how he was working with Invictus Gaming. And that's why you need to be afraid of IG. They are not just a team of superstars anymore that are brute forcing their way because they're better players. Their cross-map play and their ability to play pressure points, especially with TP around the Fiora, was flawless and snatched back a very shaky early game.
The part that makes it even better is when they try and gank a lane, if it was the Fiora in this instance, how casually he's able to sidestep and survive, and they're trading on the bottom side, winning that trade. IG are doing the cross-map play, but they are so good individually that they're winning where they're meant to be at a disadvantage as well. They are just destroying. It was a 50-minute set against the third best team, presumably now, of course, in our region.
RNG that went to World Semis just a few months ago. I know I say it every time, but it cannot be understated. This is an excellent team, and they just got demolished.
Let me help you out there. As the historian of the LPL, I've watched since the very beginning. This is the strongest LPL team I think I have ever seen.
Ooh.
In terms of the collective star talent on the roster, how they are playing in their diversified styles. The team before that I would have given that crown was 2014 OMG when they went to Worlds Finals. But the thing is that roster went with San and Dada7. This one has Jackie Love and Baolan.
Now that being said, they are now on 17 consecutive game wins. The only team that is a little bit ahead of them is EDG at 18 game wins, when in LPL Summer 2015, they were completely flawless throughout the season. IG are one game away from catching that, one series away from passing it completely and breaking a new record.
And how seamlessly they're able to get those wins today as well in this particular set. The second game as well, something to bring it all back as well. The draft phase is the place that I would want to kick off most of the conversation about game number 2. It was a short affair, but there was something that stands out like a sore thumb to, I would say, both of us, and that was the Zach first pick from RNG, because this wasn't crystal clear from RNG with their drafting once again. They still gave so many things over to IG and still allowed them to play their game.
That said, we both understood exactly what they were trying to go for. It wasn't just about the Zach, it was about the 5v5 comp. We made jokes that Uzi walks into the backstage after game number 1, looks them all dead in the eye and says, if you do not gank my lane, you're all fired. Joke. But that said, it was all about Uzi.
Yeah.
Look at that composition. That is a Galio, Karma, Gangplank, Zach with a Kog'Maw. That has one goal on it, and it didn't work.
The problem, though, is no matter how hard you try to gank the bottom lane, and this is going to come back to the jungle role, this is where it's mostly reflected through where IG can get their early game leads, Ning's in your jungle again. He's constantly fighting you for every single camp that you go towards, and if every IG laner is renowned for controlling their lanes, for winning their lanes, and Ning sees Casa, which they did at level 3, they fought for level 4, continued at the Gromp later on, and that just continued to press on further and further, well, suddenly, what is he going to do? And the choice was gank bottom lane. I think it was the correct decision from Casa. Ultimately, he made the sacrifice of his own jungle camps, gets the ganks off, but still then Ning's ahead. They know exactly where the Zac is. They choose to make trades.
And that's the thing, you know, Uzi was doing very well. He got a lot of the resources. Karsa pathed much better this time around. Uzi was matching in the 2v2, picking up some solo kills. It was going back and forth a lot, but no one is digging out the gangplank. And if you have a late game scaling composition, because it is a Kog'Maw, and you cannot even get to that late game point, like that's where problems start to arise.
And though we did see some excellent plays from the likes of RNG to try to trade them around, it was IG matching on both sides of the map, and you should have heard the crowd roar once RNG found a few kills.
This is 7 minutes and 30 seconds into the game, and this is one single replay with very consistent rolling throughout. That's where all of the pressure started to mount at the same time, and this is a sign of where RNG actually did have some signs of fight in them.
And I do want to point out that Rookie was not playing very well in game number 2. He had cleanse for a very long time, botched a couple, like 3 early ganks. He started to pick it up on the back half, but that was Invictus Gaming smashing RNG with Rookie underperforming on Orianna.
An excellent performance from Invictus Gaming overall. We've still got tons of stuff to talk about for this matchup, and we'll get a chance to in just a few. But first, let's hear from the new AD carry for Invictus Gaming, Jackie Love, and Clement to interview him.
Hello, everyone, and with me is Jackie Love over his triumphant defeat of Uzi. Jackie Love, 你可以跟大家说声好吗？
大家好，我是 IG 的 AD Jackie Love。
All right, my first question for you, Jackie Love. This is going to be the only time you face up against Uzi in that bottom lane. How do you think you've measured up to him today? Do you think you've made a strong statement with your victory over RNG? 就第一个我想问的是，今天是你唯一一次会对上 UZI 嘛？那你觉得这一次在这个对拼上面的话，你会怎么样评价自己的表现？那你觉得你自己有没有从这个胜利当中，就是为自己夺得一些掌声这样子，然后让你自己的这个在 AD 的地位有所提升？
说实话，今天打的话，我自己觉得话打的还算是比较好的吧，因为我以前跟那个打上小狗的话，我是被打得很惨，然后今天的话也算稳住了吧。因为今天这2把就总体来说的话是队友太猛了，我也不需要我发挥吧，所以总体来说就今天跟我赢的话没有太大关系，然后就队友太猛。
你谦虚了，谦虚了。这个 so Jackie Love's answer is I felt like I did pretty well today. Usually when I face up against Uzi beats me pretty badly. But overall, I have to say that today's victory really was about my teammates. They were just so good on the map. So I'm not sure I had that much to do about it. They were just really good. As you can see from the MVP definitely going over to the Shy in the top lane there. The second question I have for you, Jackie Love, is in Game 2, there was a very interesting trap set up for you guys. We saw RNG take the Zac on the first pick, and it seemed like they were going to go for the, it was very obvious they were going to go for the Kog'Maw later, but you guys instantly snatched up the Tahm Kench and also the Varus to kind of counter. Was that planned? Did you see through the trickery, or how come you guys usually default over to the Varus？ 我想问的就是在第二场的一个比赛当中，在 BP 里面的话，其实 RNG 他们是第一个先选的一个扎克这样子，然后后面接上了就是自己的一个大嘴这样的一个选择。那你们似乎是有看穿他们这样子一个阵容的搭配方式，马上就锁下了这个维鲁士跟坦肯奇。跟蛤蟆这样子的一个选法，那你们是有看穿他们要做什么样的选择吗？为什么你们这么喜欢维鲁斯这个选择？
因为第一个的话，因为维鲁斯这个版本的话，也是就算对线里跟团战控制里面都比较强的一个英雄嘛。然后第二个就是因为我们决定放了加里奥，然后就想到对面可能选一个4保1的英雄，就4保1的英雄的话，就感觉最厉害的就是大嘴还有维鲁斯侠吧，这目前的版本的话，然后搬了2个，然后就搬了一个的话，我想的是，就如果我选维鲁斯的话，就对上大嘴的话，应该不会吃太大亏。但是我们2楼选了个塔姆的话，没想到对面那个卡玛是走辅助的，所以我们下路前面会有点难打。但是我们后面的话就打野还是帮回来了。
Okay, so Jackie Love's answer is that we kind of had the inkling that RNG would go for a 4-1, protect the AD carry composition, and the 3 big AD carries we have right now are Varus, Xayah, and also Kog'Maw. So we already banned one out, and we felt like the Varus would do pretty well into the Kog'Maw. So we locked into the Varus pretty early on. We also took away the Tahm Kench. What we didn't expect, however, was RNG putting Ming onto the Karma support right there, and we had a very rough early laning phase. However, Ning was able to help out of the jungle, and we were able to take back the lane. All right, so my last question for you, Jackie Love, is out of the 3 beasts of the East, you only have Rogue Warriors left to face. How do you think that matchup is going to go, and are you guys, how do you see you guys going further into playoffs? 就最后一个问题，我想问说，现在东区3雄，其实你们 RNG 已经击败了，那接下来剩下来是这个 Rogue Warriors。那你觉得你们对上他的话，有什么样的一个重点？这样，然后再往后的话，你们季后赛，你觉得自己这支队伍大概能达到什么样的目标？
我觉得话，以我们现在来说的话，我们可能能打到决赛吧，因为我们现在状态的话，每个人状态都是，就算目前的话比较好，就非常好吧，也不是说比较好，非常好了。然后的话，打上 LW 的话，因为我们上次打过他们，然后也赢下来了。感觉的话，他们就是以中上能选那种就团战保护的推线英雄，然后保住他们下路来打。如果我们把他们下路就针对的没有办法发挥的话，我觉得我们还是比较好赢他们的。
那针对这个司马老贼，你自己有什么样的看法吗？
反正我觉得我现在就打谁的话，要么就稍微优势点，要么就稍微劣势一点嘛，就55开跟46开之间嘛。
Okay. So Jackie Love's answer right now is that they feel like they are in a very good performance plateau, not performance plateau, they're very, very good state. All of them are doing very well. So he does expect IG to show up in the finals right here. And as for their matchup against Rogue Warriors, they have faced and defeated them in the previous time. His read on Rogue Warriors is that they like to play teamfight champions in the top and also the mid lane, and those champions usually like to push lane a lot and try to protect the bottom lane. So going up against Rogue Warriors, all you have to do is really focus down their bot lane. And I threw in a little bit of extra questions for him right there because he was talking about focusing down the bot lane. How was Jackie Love going to do that? And Jackie Love's answer was pretty humble. He said, well, against SMLZ, usually these days, even against the best AD carries, I can have an even start or maybe just be a little bit behind. It doesn't really matter that much. So not revealing much about his strategies, but thank you guys for the interview so far. We're going to throw it back to the analyst desk.
Thank you so much, Clement and Jackie Love. And going even, if not a little behind against SMLZ, Jackie Love, you just played against Uzi and ended up smashing him over the course of the game. Laning phase still pretty close to even, despite a 30 CS lead in game 2. For Uzi.
To be fair, there was a lot of humility from Jackie Love, and he
was.
credited a lot of the success towards his team, and I fully respect that, and I do believe in this case the team was a major part of their victories.
Yeah.
It wasn't just him. He mentioned Ning coming down to the lane. That was also true. And the one time he saw Ning in game number 1 as a 5-0 Olaf running at Uzi, so you'd expect it goes pretty well.
Well, that said, there were some members that he didn't see. The Shy in the top lane on that Fiora. He's actually going to take our man of the match, as you heard to alluded earlier. 5-0-1. Kill participation only a mere 46%, but he almost single-handedly won the game.
And the fact of the matter is that the LPL has never had the best top laners in the world. We've been riding second to Korea, but we may actually have an answer this time around. So Khan, Smeb, you better put on your best performance because the Shy is coming.
Yeah, you very rarely get to say things like that. It's super exciting.
It certainly is. And already, again, we can turn our attention now towards the rest of the game because we had that final fight where the Shy was able to pop off on that Fiora. That we were able to see that cross-map cohesion from Invictus Gaming. Though Jackie Love looks to be caught, it's the Shy who comes in from behind and turns it around.
And the brilliance here is that IG were actually able to delay enough that the Shy didn't teleport into this fight. He backed, spent the gold that he had just taken from taking all of RNG Structure's bottoms, then walked all the way into the fight, and IG were coordinated enough to disengage from RNG's advance. And this is RNG's advance with the Galio, Gangplank, and Zac. It is very hard to get away from that. The Shy then calmly just walks in, still has his teleport, and cleans up the back half of the fight.
The biggest thing about this as well is that IG also won on the Zac front, where Jackie Love had no health at the start of the fight. He actually kills Casa and walks away perfectly fine. It just shows that IG are so cohesive even when they look separate on the map. They just know what they're doing individually, and it could just be a wavelength thing. They're all on the same page.
And that's the newest evolution of Invictus Gaming. You know, about mid-split here we were saying, yes, they're strong, but they're brute-forcing victories. They don't seem to have the synergy. It's why they fell to RNG in week number 1. That is not the case anymore. This is IG's final form, and we just saw them flex on them.
And that final form is going to propel them towards the top of the standings. Invictus Gaming, with this win, are now one step closer to locking in that semi-final bye. Of course, right behind them, a single game down, is Rogue Warriors. That match is going to be happening next week.
Yeah, next week. Make sure you put that in the calendars. Be there, watch it. The Battle of the Top of the East is actually just the Battle of the Top of the LPL is how it feels right now when they clash against one another. It's a 14-set victory in a row for IG, and they're trying to get that record from EDG.
I mean, at this point, it may as well be a finals preview before they clash in Chengdu, because both these teams are in a crash sprint towards that stage.
A crash sprint indeed. RNG, though, with that loss, now in 3rd place. Haven't guaranteed their spot just yet, as Jingdong is still capable of catching up to them and sort of shuffling them around in the standings. Of course, there's still a lot of action to go here in the LPL. It's week 8. We've got 2 full weeks left. She's chuckling. She was going to throw her pen at me over the course of that.
You should get 2 for flinching, too.
Look, we don't often throw pens here on the analyst desk today. She's doing it again. I would like to report a murder. It was RNG. And while you're here, officer, can you also take a look at illegal pen throwing on the desk? Let's take a look at tomorrow's matches as well. Suning are going to be showing up in our first game of the day against Rogue Warriors, their final match before they prepare against IG.
And this is incredibly important. The fight for 4th is still very thick between JD and Suning, and they need to find these wins if they want to keep the spot.
And both teams have stumbled. They've both actually suffered defeats very recently, so whilst they're trying to race for the 4th place position, they're losing on the way there, but because they're both losing, there's been no clear-cut advantages to be seen, and they'll have to face each other at some stage. That may be the difference.
Yeah, very well could be the decider. I'm not going to close this desk until you put that pen down. All right, thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. This has been week 8 of the LPL. On behalf of myself, my co-analysts, our casters, and our wonderful production crew, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow with more LPL action.